The shield that we wear, 3 to 4 ounces on our chest, is such an incredible piece of history and really carries with it a tremendous amount of potential power and influence when used in the correct way. Ultimately, police officers come from knights and men and women who protected in the past, and essentially what it says is, stand behind me and I will protect you. Warriors and knights had on the front of that shield the crest, or what stood for the city. And so now on our chest stands that symbol. It again tells our citizens, stand behind me and I will protect you. Hi, my name is Liam Duggan. I'm the Chief of Police for the City of Prior Lake. So when staff came and asked about the possibility of rebranding or looking at what our shields might look like, the first response I had back was, most of them are going to be wearing these a lot longer than I am. And so it was critically important that the staff believed that this was an important piece to Prior Lake Police and the City of Prior Lake's branding and what it looked like for our future. And so I returned back to them and said, absolutely, ideas are free. Go ahead and start thinking about what that might mean and what you want not only for yourself, but for officers, legacy officers, years and decades down the line to look like and how we want to represent the citizens that we serve.
Wearing the shield to me signifies the brotherhood and sisterhood that we have as law enforcement officers, the commitment that we have to our citizens, and our willingness to lay down our lives for people that we may not even know. Hi, I'm Detective Chris Schaefer with the Prior Lake Police Department. In the spring of 2023, I approached our Chief of Police and brought this idea to his attention and asked him if he'd be willing to entertain the idea of rebranding the badge and coming up with something that was more personal to us here at the police department, something that told a story about our city and past and present.
So when it comes to shields that are either off the shelf or that are designed specifically, there's a couple vendors and manufacturers throughout the country and throughout the world that do this sort of work. So we took a look at a couple of those to see what they might be able to offer, really to be able to tell the story of the City of Prior Lake and the Prior Lake Police Department. And as we looked through those manufacturers and those vendors, really one stood out heads and tails above the rest in terms of not only the customization availability that they had, but really the ability that we believe to tell the story of the Prior Lake Police Department, and that was Smith & Warren. And so in order to be able to tell the story of this city, both legacy from our past, also where we are currently and where we want to be in the future, we wanted to dig into what are those things, what tells the story of the City of Prior Lake. And so we were able to locate within our own city what we'll call our historians, people that know the story, that know the history, that know the people and what is behind the shields, the legacy of the police department and the city itself.
They call me the Queen of Prior Lake is what they call me. Why? Because I know so much about the history of Prior Lake. I love this community. Hi, my name is Kathy Dawson and I'm 5th generation Prior Lake. My great-great-grandparents, Edwin and Anna Simpkins, came to Prior Lake in 1867 and were among the first pioneers to homestead here. My extended family, the Simpkins-Cates families, has researched the history of Prior Lake for over 50 years. So I'm very fortunate to have that information and be able to give it back to the community. When the chief came to me and they were looking for what really created Prior Lake historically, what events happened that we could incorporate into the Prior Lake Police Department's new badge, such as the 3 farms that had to be brought into the village so that it could be incorporated as a village in 1891. The 3 stars above the sailboat represent the 3 farms that were brought into the town's boundaries, which was necessary to incorporate the Prior Lake as a village in 1891. Just knowing that the Lions, the Simpkins, and the Nucks were the pioneers that came here first to homestead, and that they were asked and willing to bring those farms into the boundaries of Prior Lake so that we could become a village, I think is really significant.
So recreation in the lake community is just a cornerstone for Prior Lake. Kids who live here, families, they spend a lot of time on the lake in the summer and in the winter. The city logo is the iconic sailboat signifying the Lulu.
The Lulu was a 16-foot sailboat that was owned by the Hall family. And the Hull family is the one that had the big Greenwood Hotel that accommodated over 100 guests, and they had 24 cottages. The Greenwood Hotel brought a lot of tourists into Prior Lake, and they provided a lot of recreation for their guests. One was the Lulu that they would take their guests out and sail the lake on. The Lulu was named after William Hull's wife, Lulu. The railroad came through the town in 1871, is what really created the town. The trestle bridge was built in 1871. The wooden cross beams highlight the past architecture and methods to build the trestle bridge. And the trestle bridge also honors Charles Prior, who the town and the lake is named after.
Wearing the shield signifies duty and honor and courage and sacrifice. I'm Officer Lindsay Thune with the Prior Lake Police Department. One of the things that is special to me on the badge is City Hall being represented. City Hall has a unique design and wave-inspired architecture, but it holds a deeper significance to the police department. It's where each of us takes the oath of office and swears to protect the city and citizens of Prior Lake.
This is a location where all of us, whether you are a brand new police officer just joining this force, or you're the chief of police who's been an officer for so many years, this is where we raise our hand and take an oath to protect the citizens of this community, and it's a special place.
One of my other favorite pieces to the badge is the Minnesota macache that aligns the bottom of the badge. So Minnesota macache is the Dakota word for Minnesota, and it was our way to pay homage to the Native American roots that are here in Prior Lake.
So as we began the customization process, and then throughout that process, not only telling the story itself as a foundation for our agency and our city, we also wanted to be able to honor the efforts that the women and men in this agency make to specialize, starting as a police officer with that beautiful, primarily silver shield, and then moving up into different specialty positions like a liaison officer or a detective, where you start to see a little bit of gold in some of the plating of the shields. Moving up then to the rank of sergeant, yet a little bit more gold. Our commander rank, even more gold, and then the chief's role, or the chief's shield, really again showing and providing some sort of an honor to that level of dedication. Our police officers wearing that silver shield, which is just an incredibly beautiful piece and an honor to the really difficult work those people do. And then moving into those other positions, again, honoring the work they do to specialize themselves, develop themselves, and then showing that as a bit of an example inside the shield that they wear. As you look at these shields, it's so incredible the design that eventually came forward to be able to tell not only the very beginnings of the city itself, the very beginnings of the state itself, to be able to honor where the state of Minnesota, where the name comes from, and the Dakota people that are so important to this area here. And all of these elements were able to come together to tell that story, whether it is the 3 stars for the farms that were brought together for the city, the train and the bridge, again, bringing commerce through to the city, City Hall today, where all of our women and men in uniform swear the oath to serve the citizens. The sailboat, such an iconic piece of Prior Lake's history, and the waters of our Prior Lake. Really, the shield from start to finish not only tells that story of all 3 of those, past, present, and future, but is truly a legacy piece for the women and men wearing it on their chest.
I still remember to this day when I first sat down and spoke with their lead team member, Ray, and him describing to me the process that we would be undertaking. And at the time it seemed maybe like a daunting task, but as we went through the process, I cannot say enough about Smith & Warren and even the professional relationship I built with Ray as we worked on this project for almost a year.
Working with Smith & Warren was truly a privilege. When we gave them our ideas for this badge, I don't think any of us were expecting the end result. And when we got the first initial workup of the badge, we were all blown away by it.
Have to say a tremendous thank you not only to Broadway Awards and Annette, our local representative, for their local sourcing and assistance start to finish, and then facilitating our work with Smith & Warren, the entire team, both from the representatives there, the artistic folks, just absolutely tremendous working relationship, and really made it clear to us that it was important to them to tell this personalized story that will last for 50, 100, or longer years.
The new badge is just stunning. I'm just so impressed how they incorporated the historical events that made Prior Lake, and I think that the police officers will be very proud to wear this badge, have a sense of community and a sense of pride.
I think we're the envy of other departments, especially in this area. We know that other agencies have reached out asking about our experience with Smith & Warren and are even starting the process of creating badges with them.
To say there was a buzz around these being delivered and for officers to start wearing them, I think that would be an understatement. I think everyone who had theirs given to them are extremely proud to have them and wear them. They love the way they look, and all I've gotten is positive feedback from my partners. I look forward to the day that, down the road when I'm retired and I come back to the city to visit with my kids, and I'm able to show them that this badge is still on the chest of the men and women of this department, and that I played a small part in the design of that. That's something I'm proud of and happy I was involved.
Prior Lake is a place where people come not only to live and work, but also just to enjoy themselves. And so this piece now sits on the chests of those women and men who protect and serve for all of those citizens coming together to enjoy all of those different things. It really creates just one single place, the city of Prior Lake, where people can come to be exactly who they want to be at any point in time.